The following marketing information and discussion is provided for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be used as professional guidance or consultancy. You should find an agency for that. Comexis is a digital marketing agency, so feel free to hire us. But otherwise, just enjoy the show.
Hello everyone, welcome to The Buyer's Journey by Comexis, a discussion-based podcast on the ever-changing marketing landscape. I'm Matthew McGroarty, the social media content producer here at Comexis.
I am Len Ward, the managing partner at Comexis.
So normally on The Buyer's Journey, we like to dive down into the data and analyze what some of the best marketing strategies are for your company, your product, your brand, et cetera, et cetera. But also sometimes we like to have just some good old fun. And today we are talking about the rise and recreation of New Coke for the release of Stranger Things Season 3 on the 4th of July. So Len, what were you doing back in 1985 when New Coke was the new hot thing and then immediately the new bad hot thing?
Well, I wasn't born yet, but so I wouldn't.
I wasn't born. It was about 10 years later I was born, but...
I was, I think, 13 years old. I remember when the New Coke came out. Is that what it was? I was 13. 85?
Yeah, 85.
I was about 13. I remember when it came out because I remember they did was the Coke Challenge or it was Pepsi Challenge.
Pepsi Challenge, yeah.
I think this might have been, was this in response to the Pepsi Challenge? I forget, but I distinctly remember the New Coke kind of tasting a little bit more like Pepsi because obviously everybody knows the difference. Pepsi's vastly sweeter than Coke. Yeah. I've always been more of a Coca-Cola fan. But I remember they made the change, and I remember I had it as a kid, and I distinctly remember saying, oh, this is horrible. This isn't Coke. This isn't what I like. And it didn't last at all. I mean, it was literally in marketing, and I'm sure they'll probably touch on it in our thing here, the most epic flop I've ever seen in marketing. I mean, it's so much where, you know, even back when they were bringing this out, I mean, the only thing I compare to this from the 80s was the E.T. game that came out for Atari. Remember, they had to dig it up. I mean, you're talking, colossal flops. I mean, that's about it. But
they found those in the desert, by the way.
I read that they have a whole video on it. It's crazy. It's actually I thought it was like a joke, but they really
I mean, it was an old gaming myth, and then it's like, they actually did bury that.
I remember that game too.
Oh my god.
But anyway, no, it's funny that they're bringing it back. Because Stranger Things, I'll tell you, there's a couple things in Stranger Things I think that they miss. Mm-hmm. Certain times when they're driving cars and stuff like that, I'm like, wait a minute, that car's like 5 years later than what they're talking about. Just being a kid from the 80s, I remember so distinctively. But man, it does feel like the 80s Stranger Things. It's really cool. And it's funny they're bringing back New Coke. It's funny.
So Josh Coblin on the New York Times did a fantastic piece on sort of what transpired to bring New Coke back to light. So I have a couple excerpts that I'm going to read from that. I will link in the blog description to the entire thing. It's really interesting. But basically, New Coke is being brought back because of Stranger Things Season 3. Apparently, representatives of both companies have said that no money changed hand in the product placement deal, which is a thing you'll notice apparently with a lot of the products on Stranger Things, for example, like Eggo waffles and stuff. No money exchanged hands for that. They just wanted the show to be authentic, and I'm sure it also helps bring popularity.
Well, that's it. I mean, everybody hates the term win-win, but what a win-win
yeah, I know.
for both.
Exactly.
That's phenomenal.
So that's kind of the point here is that a lot of these product placement deals aren't inherently product placement in the sense of nobody's necessarily being paid for them, though I'm sure there have been some in the past for Stranger Things, and of course in media in general. But the idea is it's sort of this aggressive promotional strategy that allows Netflix to market themselves without doing traditional advertising marketing, right? So for example, so other than just New Coke, Netflix has reached agreements with roughly 75 brands to spread word about one of its biggest hits. H&M and other retailers will sell clothes that replicate what the show's characters wear, and Baskin-Robbins will serve new flavors, referencing the program's Scoops Ahoy ice cream parlor. So Matt and Ross Duffer, they were the creators of the show. They talked about in this piece sort of what made them want to do this, and one of the things that they were thinking of was that New Coke was such a popular pop culture moment in '85 that it felt like they really had to. So here's an excerpt directly from the piece. Barry Smith, Netflix head of partnership marketing, said the idea first came up during a meeting in 2017 between the show's creators and Netflix executives. Quote, "We asked the question, what would really blow it out of the water for this campaign? Mr. Smith recalled, they jokingly said, bring back new Coke. They thought it was a joke, and we took it as a brief." So Coke apparently had to dig up the old recipe from its archives, and it is going to be making 500,000 cans of new Coke available on its website and in some vending machines, so good luck getting it. I'm going to attempt to try and get one because I do like Coke and I would like to see what it tastes like, but we shall see. The Duffers also said that none of the marketing deals meant to hype the show would add to their own bank accounts. Quote, "We're not getting a revenue cut from any of this," they said. "The hope is just that it gets the show more exposure." That said, they did get paid to direct a Coke commercial in movie theaters starting a couple weeks ago. So they technically didn't make money off the new Coke deal, but they are technically getting money for doing a commercial. But regardless, I think it's a really interesting and cool way to advertise a product. I mean, a lot of what they're talking about is sort of how can we make the ultimate win-win? Like, Coke is going to get a lot of publicity for this. Stranger Things is getting publicity for this. Baskin-Robbins is going to get publicity. H&M is technically more of a direct product, like, sell of merchandise, right? But Baskin-Robbins and Coke seem to be getting some big win-wins out of this one.
Yeah, it's definitely, it's kind of cool. It's definitely going to, they're pulling the nostalgia card, and I like how obviously it's years later and Coke's completely, at peace with how the whole new Coke thing was rolled out. But you get someone in my generation, Stranger Things. I mean, even my 9-year-old likes Stranger Things, so it spans a lot of different generations. It's a really cool show. A little disappointing second season. First season was good. Hoping the third's a little better, but it really does when you look at the products they're doing, what they're wearing. You kind of think about certain things maybe you haven't purchased in a long time, like Eggo waffles or, Coke. Obviously, that's pretty much a staple in everybody's house. But little things that make you think, maybe I'll pick that up, and it kind of makes you think about it. So this is a great form of marketing. Now, this is not a new form of marketing. This has been going on since the dawn of TV, the dawn of radio. Sometimes they would work it in. If you remember Jerry Seinfeld, if you watch Seinfeld, you saw all the products there. There's the ways in which it's product placement. It's classic. It's exactly how influencer marketers are making their money right now. It's exactly how a lot of the people you watch on Twitch are making their money by, Mountain Dew is placed here, Doritos are placed there. But it's another great way for, to really, you got to think about it. Like, advertising's advertising, but then there's some brands who are, they're just in the DNA of our country. Something like Coke and Baskin-Robbins is just completely products that every generation remembers. So it's a really good way to kind of market. Now, it'd be great if a small guy could get in there at some point, but that's not going to happen. But it's ingenious. And in this day and age, when I tell people all the time, you see 3,000 ads a day, and when you watch Stranger Things, you're not about watching an ad. You're truly getting somebody at a great spot. So, kudos to Coke, H&M, Baskin-Robbins. They did great. I think it's awesome what they did.
Yeah, if you guys want to hear more or read more rather about sort of how this deal transpired and some other things that Stranger Things is doing, definitely check out John Coblin's piece. I'll have it linked in the blog description for you to check it out there. It's really great. Thank you for listening to today's episode of The Buyer's Journey. Check us out at Comexis.com, YouTube, and anywhere you get your podcasts, and follow us on Twitter at @buyers_journey. Thanks for tuning in.